And joining us to talk about Antenna Gate is Dan Ackerman. He is the senior editor with CNET.com. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Okay, so Steve Jobs went out today and he made his grand announcement. How do you think he did?
Well, this was kind of a very special case for Apple because it's very rare that they have these kind of almost emergency press conferences. So expectations were super high. And in that sense, the kind of low-key presentation that he gave that didn't really change a heck of a lot at the end of the day might have left some people wanting more.
Yeah, okay, but the little bit of more perhaps is these bumpers that he's going to give away. Do you think that that is going to satisfy all the customers out there who are a little frustrated?
Well, there have been a lot of people who have said, hey, my reception is not great on this phone. If I had one of these bumpers, that would actually solve the physical problem because I can't put my finger on that kind of death spot on it. Can I get a free bumper? And the customer service reps at Apple would always say no. So now that they're actually giving them away for free, that will physically solve the problem. But what if you bought the iPhone because you really like the look and you don't want a big rubber band around it?
Very good point. Okay, so Jobs also said that anyone who is unhappy with their iPhone 4 can return it for a full refund. 3 million phones have been sold so far. I mean, come on. 3 million people are not going to return the phone.
They're not going to get a lot of refunds, especially because it's very hard to swap out a phone once you have it. It's kind of almost a big lifestyle change. You have to get all your data and put it on a new phone. And people still like the iPhones. They like the social element because they have it, their friends have it, they can share apps and stuff.
Yeah. Tell me something. How would you overall rate the iPhone 4?
I mean, it's still a really great phone. It has a reception problem when you hold your hand in a certain way, but so do a lot of other phones. It's just more obvious on this phone because the antenna is on the outside and the bad spot happens to be a place where, especially if you're left-handed, you're likely to hold it.
So, I mean, roughly, can we say, do we know how many people really complained about this phone?
He said it was, I think, 1/2 of 1%, which out of 3 million is maybe 15,000 or something like that, if my math is right. So that's still a lot of calls in a month, but at the same time, you know, especially people who buy Apple products and are enthusiasts like to really get into them, and if they have a problem, they're going to call up and talk to somebody about it.
So if you were to compare the iPhone 3 to the iPhone 4 and all of the others, does this one have the most problems? Is it the most problematic? Or
well, Steve Jobs claims that fewer people have returned or complained about this new phone than the previous models. Obviously, it's a much more advanced phone. It's got a much more advanced screen. It's got the 2 cameras on it. So there are more things where that could go wrong, where you could have problems. But this reception problem, it's almost an industry-wide thing. I think people are focusing in on Apple because it's such a big brand, but people have had similar problems on BlackBerries, on Android phones, on other types of smartphones.
All right, Dan Ackerman of CNET.com. We thank you for that info.
Thank you.
All right.